Pilates is getting more and more popular. I think one reason is because its promise of longevity, which is the new buzzword, and I'm 83, so I guess it works. But there are other directions, other trends that are maybe troubling to what I see as the longevity of the Pilates method. A couple of weeks ago, I was speaking to a teacher, Invisalign certified. Her name is Beatrice Wood. She was certified 21 years ago at Bodyline Studio. Maria Leone was her teacher, and now she lives in Colorado. And we were talking about the industry and these reformer classes. And I could tell that she was uncomfortable with this concept. And she kept saying, I guess I'm just old fashioned. And what I heard was that she couldn't call herself contemporary if this was contemporary, and she couldn't call herself classical because she wasn't part of that lawsuit and the whole idea of the registration, the trademark, and using certain apparatus only. So she didn't know how to define herself at this moment. And I said, well, you have to remember that physical mind always and still does teach the original exercises, the ones Joe choreographed to really showcase his apparatus. And, don't forget that. And remember that we would teach the original sequence. Now, not that you wouldn't modify that. I mean, you have to teach the body in front of you. Everyone says that. But, we didn't stray from that. And when the Institute started in 1991, we had the apparatus that now would be called contrology, I guess, where there were four springs, uh, limited adjustability of the headrest and the foot bar, and no risers. That's what we had. And that's what I had trained on. And of course, Eva and Michelle Larson. Eventually, I remember that five springs were there all of a sudden, and uh, I don't recall what we said, but it was soon, oh, that's a good idea. I mean, one spring was split. It was pretty simple, and it gave us more options. That was about it. And then, of course, risers and, other developments. And then that meant you were not teaching classical Pilates if you didn't use equipment that was without this. So as you can see, I am surrounded by all my photos of Joe teaching and the apparatus because I'm an inventor. He, of course, was an enormously prolific inventor and gave us things we should be so grateful for. And yet, there are people that think Pilates is a reformer class. And that's what's growing. I mean, there are not just new studios, but franchises. They're ubiquitous. And another one I just read about where it's opening up in New York. It's already in Florida. They're going to have 20 reformers, I think. And what they say is that the music is so well curated. Of course, I've never done Pilates to music, so that didn't make me want to run there. But that's what people seem to like. And of course, it is, for me, particularly amusing because I tried a reformer class, I think it was 1993 in Santa Fe. 4 reformers, and asked the clients who came for what was then called open gym if they would do this, and they said okay. And then at the end they said they didn't like it, and then we said, well, try it again or we'll get some other people. And we tried it again. Of course, we had to simplify everything and keep people supine as long as possible, and they weren't used to that. And we didn't use the box because we didn't think we could do that. And then they said, no, we don't like it. And that was the end of it. I thought that was the end of it. But then, as everyone knows, in 2008-9, it surfaced. And of course, now It's been expanded to many different franchises, and people constantly talking about it as if that's Pilates. The next conversation was with one of my favorite teachers who's in Dublin, Arlene Ryan, and she told me a story which she thought was funny. Depends upon your sense of humor, I guess. But anyway, she had just finished teaching a mat class in a health club where she teaches regularly. And one of the members who attends her class was outside talking with other people who'd been in the class, and there was this huge exclamation from him saying, "What? You mean Pilates has equipment?" So this fellow was under the impression that Pilates was just on the mat without even a magic circle, but certainly had never heard of a Cadillac, a barrel, a pedipole, a reformer. And I thought, wow, it's funny, but it's not funny. And of course, there are articles, everyone's read them. Do you do mat Pilates or do you do reformer Pilates? And I'm so sick of those articles. And about an hour before I recorded this, Well and Good, which is what I call the ultimate wellness bitch publication, had an article, has it right there, you can read it, about, oh, there are other things too. You could go to barrel Pilates or Cadillac Pilates or chair Pilates. Maybe they'll have foot corrector Pilates. And we'll just slice and dice everything up because we're running out of options, just trying to re-choreograph these great exercises so we can have 20 people doing them at once. I don't want to do anything to retard our growth because the entire diet, exercise, fitness, nutrition, now wellness industry is at a crossroads, and who knows what's going to happen. And most people think it's going to decline, and we're zooming ahead and projected to double in the next few years. So that's great, but maybe we just have to make sure that people have a real view of what Joe Pilates created and understand there's so many more inventions of his that they need to taste, and soon.